Women in Print Alliance is dedicated to connecting, empowering, and advancing women in the print industry. As part of Printing United Alliance, we're fostering a more inclusive future through advocacy, education, and networking opportunities that connect women across the entire industry. Join us as an individual to grow your career, expand your network, and access exclusive resources, or enroll your entire organization to show your commitment to supporting women in print. Become a member today at womeninprintalliance.org and help us shape the future of print.
Welcome to Her Imprint, part of the Impressions Exchange. I'm Denise Gustafson, your host. This podcast celebrates the remarkable women who are transforming the printing industry. We'll explore their journeys, from challenges to triumphs, and share the stories that leave a lasting imprint. Today I have with me Charity Jackson. She's the owner with Visual Horizon Custom Signs. So Charity, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. To get us started, can you tell me a little bit about Visual Horizon Custom Signs?
We are, my husband and I, we're going on 31 years in business, which
Awesome.
is crazy because I don't know how I'm old enough to be in business that long.
You can't
But
be.
no,
You started it like when you were a fetus.
exactly. That's how I feel. No, but we've been in business that long, which is just insane. But I was 20 when we started the business. So we just, I don't want to say we made it up as we've gone, but we've definitely found our niche as we've gone, so to speak. But we both worked for another sign company that was going to be, it was a franchise owner with the most business savvy, shall we say. So he was going out of
That
business.
happens.
So we were going to be unemployed. And my husband and I were just friends at the time, but we were going to be unemployed or we started our own business. And then we decided to start our own business. And here we are 30 years later. But we're a full service sign company other than electrical. We do have our C45 contractor's license to do electrical, but we got out of that just for, again, finding our niche, finding what we're good at. And there's a lot of electrical guys in town that are really good at what they do, crane trucks and the staff and all the things that we really did not want to get into. So we backed out of electrical, but we really specialize in vehicle graphics, vehicle wraps, and fleet graphics. That's our big thing. So
Cool.
Lots of signs, lots of banners, lots of engraving. The vehicles are our thing.
Really cool. It's interesting too, like with the neon and like the LED signs and all like the electrical side of the business. That's like completely so weird or like foreign to me because I do more on the print side.
See, and I like the print side of things too, because we do offer marketing collateral. We offer like the business cards and the brochures and all that kind of stuff. We outsource the printing part of it, but we do handle all of the sales and design work and all that good stuff. We do offer displays, backdrops and flags and trade shows and all that good stuff. Again, we outsource it because there's good companies that wholesale this stuff. We don't need to have our hand in everything as far as equipment goes, but we do like to offer all that to our customers, get one stop for them. But we try to make sure that what we offer, we really know what we're selling. So I don't,
makes sense.
yeah, we're really particular about if I don't know enough about something and I can't figure it out enough to make it, how do I say, to sell it to the customer and know that they're getting what they need, then I'll just refer them to somebody else. But as far as getting into something, if it's within our wheelhouse and we do the design and stuff, then yeah, we'll totally sell it.
Which is awesome. I imagine too, like with the electrical stuff, there's a whole level of like insurance and other things that go along with that because God forbid a banner falls. Oh no. You don't have to worry about electrocution or any of the other things that go with the electrical signs on that side of the house.
And that's being in California too. The insurances and all of the regulations are insane. And our workers' comp alone, with only having 2 guys in production, because we have a very small shop, but we're very busy, we're very efficient. With my husband and I and 2 guys that do production and everything. And just having the 2 guys, our workers' comp is well over $10,000 a year. And that's them climbing a ladder. If they were doing boom trucks and installs and work with electrical, it would be even worse. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So definitely not something we wanted to stay in.
Yeah.
So.
But it's great, though, that you have the understanding about it. So you know who to refer them to. Because that's some people just don't even have that side of the house. They don't understand that even because they never played in it. So to be able to actually understand what goes into that and really the ins and outs of it, too, I think makes you really unique in that because you can offer, in a way, full service. But this part, like you said, you're just going to partner with someone who can do it better.
Yeah, we have 3 companies in our area that are really good that we refer electrical stuff to. They're good. I know they're gonna take care of the customer. We refer them, they're happy, we move on. Maybe they'll refer them back for the banners, the signs, the vehicle kind of thing. Yeah, so it works.
Which is awesome.
And
So
having a good relationship with the other sign shops in the area does make a difference too. And it's a very saturated market in our area as far as signs go. We're one of the older companies, which makes me sound old. What? Like,
you are not old. Definitely
when
not.
we started, we were the young kids and blah, they're never going to make it, whatever. Now we're like the old fogies that it. 2 of my guys have gone on and they own their own sign shops in town. And technically they're competition, but I still refer them things when I don't have time. We can't get to a project. I'll refer them to one of, my guys, I still call them my guys, but one of the guys that have successful businesses. And so that makes me feel good that they're doing good. Yeah. It's not really competition because I don't feel competitive with them because it's like, there's not work to do.
Yeah, there's plenty of work. And honestly, competition's never a bad thing either, right?
Exactly. It's not. It keeps all of us in check. It keeps us on our toes a little bit. And honestly, we're very busy. There's ways you can expand. We can add more employees. I can add marketers. I can add all these things and increase my headaches. Or if I can just keep doing what I'm doing for the last 3 decades, that's been working. We take care of our core customers. We're busy enough to pay all of our bills. We found our niche and we're happy.
Which is really cool. Now, you said you guys were working for Imprint before you started.
We were working for another sign franchise. Yeah, that was in the area. That's actually where my husband, he went from high school to Burger King to the franchise sign company. And he worked there for 5 years. And then they actually hired me. It's just funny what we're discussing is they hired me. Pretty much it came out as they hired me as a woman because they needed somebody to keep the place organized, so to speak.
Oh,
you know what? I always tease my husband. I'm like, you might have hired me and been my boss for 5 minutes, but I'm the boss now. So that's what I tell him all the time. It's like, but it's true. Yeah, I did come in there and organize it. That was my thing. But whatever, it worked out in the end. Hey, and a lot of women really are really good organizers, and I proved that. So it's worked out.
definitely.
So, yeah.
So what was it about print that made you so interested in it? Why did you decide to, yes, I'll go and take care and I'll do the organization in a sign shop?
I was going to junior college. I was out of high school, graduated high school when I was 17. I was going to MJC, had no idea what I really wanted to do. First it was architecture and then like math. Okay, that's not, I speak so math. That was enough. And then I found interior design and then I found graphic design. So somewhere in that design industry was where I was interested. My mom actually saw a print newspaper way back of dating myself some more. This little ad for a position at a sign company there in town, told me about it. So I applied and then I went in with my little dress on and dropped off my application and everything. And they called me again. They wanted somebody, they knew they wanted to hire a female to help in production, but also to help organize because it was a bunch of guys. And then I think a couple of female marketers or maybe a female marketer. I went in and I interviewed. My husband actually interviewed me. So I was teasing, like, what if you hadn't hired me? But he did hire me. And again, we were just friends for a good year, just friends and stuff and working together. And I really worked there for a little over a year before we ended up started dating and then started the business together. But yeah, anyway, it wasn't really hey, I want to go into the sign industry because there's absolutely no education about signs. You might hear graphic design and then that goes into the printing industry. If they might hear about package printing, which now that I know more about it, that's always cool. I think package printing is a very cool industry. I love the fact that you can flatten something out, how the design all works together. I'd get really nerdy about certain things, and that's one area I get nerdy about. It's about package printing, even though it's not really something I do. And then I guess you could call a vehicle a package in the way it wraps around it.
It is.
But I guess I do it on a large scale. But I was interested in art, but it wasn't really, there's really no education about the sign industry. There's really not. Even when they do their local, who's the best restaurant? Who's the best chiropractor? It's never who's the best sign company, even though there's probably 30 or more of us in the area. It's just never on the list because nobody thinks about it.
And there's hundreds and hundreds of people that actually use your services every day.
Yeah.
Across all of those different sign companies.
We're very busy. I can't say everybody's busy. I don't know. We're a busy industry, kind of a close-knit, busy, here's my words, a close-knit, busy industry with plenty of work. Our town probably has over 200,000 people in it, which is about double what it was when we started 30 years ago. But then we have a lot of outlying towns. And that's really all we service. We don't go much beyond that. I did add e-commerce to our website. I just rebuilt our website and added e-commerce so that we can start adding more things online and drop shipping and selling that way. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that'd be more package printing kind of stuff, or more package printing, more signs and bulk printing, that kind of stuff.
Stuff that you can
Displays.
template out a little bit more.
Yeah, we can just take if we have their logo on file already, we already have their branding, we can incorporate that into some extras that they might need for an upcoming trade show or something like that. And then I can just drop ship it to them or they can pick it up. It's just added services.
Yeah, like I always said, like sometimes like those yard signs, they're just that square.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's easy enough. You drop a couple things on, template it out,
Yeah.
and you print it.
Yeah, the crazy thing about those is we was actually 2 years, but then the whole, I don't know what, 4 or 5 years of COVID pandemic. Those were our 2 busiest years in 30 years. We were absolutely slammed. But one of the things we did was those yard signs for the seniors. We probably sold over 10,000 of those the first year. In 2019, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's when we really sold. And the next year was probably close to that. And then it tapered off as everything woke back up. But yeah, we didn't close a single day during the pandemic. We were just absolutely slammed. They tried to close us down, but then we had to prove that we were essential. And we were making a lot of decals for spacing.
Please stand 6 feet away, all of those things.
Yeah, we did. And the funny thing is they were coming to us like, hey, are you essential? Do we need to shut you down? But when we're like, we literally just did county signs for spacing. I'm like, so I had actually, it was a female officer that came in and my husband was getting out of him like, you need to move aside and let me speak with her because you're getting very animated. Yeah, sometimes it takes a woman's touch to
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are you questioning me type thing?
Yeah. And he wasn't meaning to, it wouldn't have mattered if it was a female or a male officer. That wasn't the point. He was just frustrated because, hey, this is our livelihood. They're going to shut us down. And it didn't matter who she was. He wasn't being a jerk in that way. He was just he started to get animated. But this needs to be a conversation between two women.
And part of it was like, did you not just realize that we just drop shipped and printed a ton of stuff for you?
Yeah, for the county. Exactly. So I literally, because I knew it was coming, I actually had a folder saved at the front counter to click on and be like, hey, we just did these signs for these industries for the pandemic, blah, blah. And that helped prove we were essential and we stayed open. So yeah.
Which is great.
Crazy. So that was a side note. Sorry, I didn't get off on the pandemic.
No, all good. So through the 31 years, did you ever think about leaving?
Numerous times, because if we didn't own our own sign company, and it has nothing to do with the industry, it has to do with the fact that we were self-employed. That's where it came to, because we had no idea what we were doing when we first started. I would say the first 10 to 15 years, we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. We were just winging it. And I say that lightly. We were still making money and building our business, and we were taking care of our customers and our employees, but we definitely could have done things a lot better if we were more mature, had maybe a business degree, had a little bit of training. I mean, there was training. We went back to sign industry shows. There's been industry shows before we started. I mean, this is what, the 80s or probably earlier than that? I don't
even earlier. I mean, look at SGIA, which predated Printing United Alliance, 50-ish, 60 years. Yeah, I mean, they've been around for quite a long time.
Yeah. We went, I think, in 95 when we started. We went to Vegas for a show. I know we went to another show in 98. So, yeah, we've been, as soon as we started to attend shows, but that was really the only place to get your information. Because we're talking like my kids make fun, but really the internet was not really the thing back then. You could just go and search up like, hey, how do I do this? Or what do I do here? Like rebuilding our website. Like I've built the WordPress site and I've built our Shopify site. I'm not a web builder. That's not my thing. So like, how do I do this? I just dual screens. How do I do this? And you figure it out, and then you implement it, and then you move on to the next thing that you don't know how to do. That was not a thing in the 90s. It was like, we talking before we were the first company in our city to buy a full color printer. It was this horrendous aqueous based printer. Everything failed. If you got a job to print and the thing actually stayed outdoor durable for 5 minutes, you were lucky. I mean, it was just we lost so much money on that. But it's how we got into the industry. First, before that, we were taking vinyl, we were prepping it, and we were actually airbrushing. We were doing airbrushing and wood grain effects and clear coating, and then putting it into the plotter and cutting it out to get full color. We did things old school now. So like way back. Now with the printers, it's crazy. It's industry has changed so much.
Oh, yeah, it's changed so much. I've been in the industry since '98,
Okay.
so I can
Yeah.
I know. I remember when I started, it was cactus with some of the stuff. There was oh god, and it took forever to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was electrostatic stuff. There was
Yeah, Gerber. We used to get our Gerber prints. Like one of our first big accounts back in 1998 was for a local winery. When we have Gallo, we have Bronco Winery in our town, huge wine companies. But we did a bunch of fleet graphics, and it was these big logos with the deer, and it was really pretty. And then I had premium gold metallic, and it had premium forest green.
okay.
Forest green. So you had the two layers of vinyl, and then you did the Gerber electrostatic, whatever thick stuff that went over the top. And you're trying to form that around rivets. And then we had the golden and the green lettering that we had to put next to it. And it was very pretty and it lasted forever. There's trucks that they were out there, they probably still last
Yeah.
30 years later. But yeah, that was how we had to do stuff. And it was layers and tedious and no air release, no like contouring. It's changed so much. So
It's changed tremendously. You talked about the speed, you talk about the materials that you're now using.
materials, the printers, actually the cost of everything has come way down. Yeah, we could buy a printer and a laminator for the cost of the printer. I'd say everything's come way down in price. So I would say probably more competitive too, as it's easier for people to get into the industry. It's easier to pick up a printer and kind of roll with it and stuff. So that's where your design skills, your customer service, all of that back end stuff has to come in. So that sets you apart from the next guy that's garage operation or the next guy that pops in.
And
Yeah.
also it's your relationships that you've developed over the 31 years as well.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. We have customers that we did work for at the other sign company. So when we went out of business, or they went out of business, they were like, hey, who's done our work? Will we still need signs? Gavin had been doing it for 5 years in that town, and then I was there. And so then they were like, they did it with us because we were the same faces. Funny thing is, we were in this 1,500 square foot location on a super busy road, awful road. It's the main road in Minnesota. And Gavin was there for 5-6 years. We actually worked out of my dad's basement for 2 months because the old owner closed the doors. We worked out of my dad's basement. That didn't work out. We found a little shop space that nobody could find us. We'd stand outside the door. We'd be like, okay, turn here. They would be driving by, turn here. It was really that bad. We were there for about 6 months. And then the owner had called us in the meantime. He's like, hey, I need to rent out this old location for the old Sanorama. And he says, I need to get this rented out. Well, how much money would you give us for everything inside? Because the old owner, he just left everything. He literally took a few things and walked out the door. We're like, we can scrape together $500 and we can take off your old window graph. It was hard to scrape together $500. And he's so I just want to be able to rent out the space. So we went out there and cleaned all the window graphics off. We took probably about $10,000 worth of stuff that got left behind. Panel saw that we still use to this day. My husband actually put the panel saw together back in 1988, and we still use that same panel saw now. But we went in, we took all that stuff out and moved it across town, cleaned the window graphics, and then we ended up renting that same space back from our old landlord. We moved it all back over a few months later. So we were there for 10 years, and then we moved where we are now for 10 years. So it was crazy. We were cartons and stuff everywhere. But yeah. So that was we've had some interesting little things.
That must have been so frustrating. Literally, you clean it out, you take it out, you cart it away, and then realize, oh no, we're going to rent the space now anyway.
Yeah. But it worked out because our landlord is this older, grumpy guy, but he really liked us. So he gave us a deal and we stayed there. But again, people knew they would come wandering in. Oh, hey, you guys did our signs 5 years ago. We're like, no, that was actually Signarama, but we can help you out. And then it grew from there. And we still have companies that we did signs for back at Signarama that are still in business that we are still our customers. So we're still doing the same thing. We've got this one guy, he's probably pushing 90 and he owns a trucking company. And he still calls us up and we do another batch of graphics for him. And then we have another guy that's a flooring company. It's like we watched his kids be born and grow up and move on. And oh, hey, they're married now. And it's, oh my gosh, they were just. But then I've got kids that one's graduating college in May. It's like, when did that happen?
Yeah, you turned around and it's
they
crazy.
literally grew up in the sign shop. So yeah, they're just like, just life keeps going.
It does keep going.
Yeah.
Now, from what my understanding of the more traditional sign industry is very similar to the print industry in terms
Mhm.
of it's a lot of guys.
Yeah. Really
Dudes.
is. It is. It is. Yeah. But we've hired a couple girls over the years, and really it was more because we knew that they could do the job. But honestly, not that many women apply
Yeah.
either. So it's not like we're like, oh, hey, you're a girl. Obviously, I'm not afraid of that. It's just we don't get a whole lot of application for it. And I'm sure in the graphic design industry, I see a lot more women in the graphic design industry as far as design work and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the sign industry, not so much. And like when I did the RAP certification, which was huge, I highly recommend to anybody in the sign industry get certified, get training for confidence and just for it just opened up doors. We're very busy from other big ad agencies sending us work. It's because we're certified because we put ourselves out there. So side note with that, but yeah, I was the only woman in the class of 6, and I was the only one that actually passed the course of 6. So it just tells you it's man or woman, it doesn't matter. We can all rap, we can all work in this industry. It's just whether or not you're willing to get educated.
Yeah, and it's not being presented as like a job opportunity for a lot of people, let alone
Yeah.
women.
I wish, honestly, my biggest thing, if I could say one thing, is I wish we could educate kids at the high school level. I wish there was a lot more as far as the sign industry goes. I know there is some education with the printing and stuff a little bit. I'm not that familiar with it, but really it's graphic design, the whole graphic design thing, the computer graphics, that kind of stuff. But the hands-on, like AI cannot replace wrapping a vehicle, period.
Yeah.
We've gone through what, a pandemic and at least 2 recessions in the last 30 years, 3 recessions in the last 30 years. We still stay busy with our signs. People still need signs. What is the saying? Going out of business or starting a business, you're going to need a sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a really kind of an AI proof industry as far as vehicle graphics and installation. Sure, you can go on and you can AI a design for the vehicle wraps. Doesn't mean it's going to look very good. Doesn't mean it's going to be effective, but you could do it. But our biggest thing is taking that information and then putting it on your vehicle is a full hands-on thing. It's a whole, and women are very good at detail work. There's really even hauling these stupid rolls of vinyl around the shop and stuff. I can do it, and really any woman could do it. I think it's a wide open industry. I wish there was a lot more education at the high school level that people know that this is another option.
Yeah, honestly, there was probably a lot more of it when, like, we were in high school
Yeah.
than it is now. Because, like, for me, I remember in junior high, 7th grade, I learned how to set type. So I learned how to set type. We used a one-color press. I made
Okay.
notepads. I also learned how to use saws, and it was tech. It was in the tech thing.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's something they do anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. And the funny thing is, both of my boys are artistic, but neither of them were interested in the sign industry. So they're not interested in working for mom and dad or taking over other than the little stuff they did. But that's totally fine. My one son is going into graphic design. He's actually a communication design major. He's getting his bachelor's degree and he already works for the college. He has a full job at the college in their graphics department. And
Awesome.
then the other son left to be an art teacher. So it's super cute. Love that they're going into it, but they're not interested in signs, but it's just such a huge industry as far as all the different facets of it and all the different things. And it's not boring at all. There's so many different things. It's one of those things I could be totally passionate. I could be one of those nerdy people that goes to the school and like talks sides and these kids are like rolling their eyes at me. But if I grabbed 1 or 2 kids or, oh, hey, this is a possibility, it's huge. And you can make really good money in this industry too.
Yeah. And like I always say, it's not everybody is set to go down the college path.
No,
Not everybody, that's not the role that everybody wants to do. It's not their career path. It's
absolutely.
some people
And
just don't do well in those situations.
my youngest is really not, honestly, it's really not he is not he is one of the smartest people I know. The formal education, that sit down and somebody speaking at you is not how he learned. So he struggles with that, even though he's very smart, but he wants to be an art teacher, which means he has to have a degree.
Mm.
But he's one of those people college is not geared for somebody like Ray. That is not, trade schools are amazing. They're awesome. I'm super pro trade schools, super pro hands-on learning, that kind of thing, 100%. And maybe there is something for the sign industry already that's taking these kids, but I'm not overly familiar with it. I know there's a few programs out there where they get local sign shops to go to schools and do a one-time presentation. I wish we could figure out a way to expand that.
It's one of those things. It's kids don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
So, and a lot of times I know, like, even growing up, you kids are introduced to doctors and lawyers and like all these big careers. And yes, it's a whole lot of schooling that goes behind some of that.
Yeah.
But then I think my high school had auto repair. It's not like they had HVAC, or I don't even think they had electrical, but I know they had auto repair because it was,
Yeah.
so there was kids working out back, working on cars.
And probably, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't know the first thing about it.
Yeah, me either. But it's hard. Print and signs are one of those industries that is everywhere, but nobody knows it, that nobody understands what's behind it.
Yeah, they don't understand. They're like, "Oh, that's really cool. What does that mean?" If my kids would say, "Oh, my parents own a sign company," and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. But what does that mean?"
Yeah, what is
So
that?
then we'd say the buses drive through town, like they do all the ads on it. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Or they'll point out something, they're like, they did that, but they have no idea how they did that. What that means? Like, how did that start tonight? It starts with the conversation, and then it goes to the computer, and then it goes to a printer, and then a laminator, production. It's a whole process that these kids have no idea. But if they did, they might think it's pretty cool because it really is. It's really cool. And I had no idea. I remember when I first started working at the sign shop, I'm like, okay, how are we cutting apart these graphics? Are we cutting them with scissors? And there's one guy I worked with was kind of jerk. But he was like, off that maybe he's like, maybe he's got like a straight edge and a knife. It's like, okay, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. Yeah. Again, you don't know. You don't know because nobody's taught you. Nobody's put it out there. Hey, this is a really cool industry. It's huge.
Honestly, if you have a good pair of scissors, you can use a pair of scissors.
It's just not the easiest way to do it, but
No, it's probably not the easiest way, but in a pinch, it probably would work.
and I would say to any kids, especially young women, anybody that's got hands-on skills, that likes to work with their hands, I would highly suggest signing up for a wrap training. Even if you don't intend to get certified, if you just want to do a wrap training, there's so many. 3M has them, Avery has them, Hexas has them. There's Avery, everybody has them. Arlen has their own training. Go and get trained and find out if that's something you like to do because you might surprise yourself. Because I was joking, we got into the industry and I became the one that started doing the vehicle wraps. My husband's like, "Oh, that's not my thing. I'm not patient for it." And I'm not patient for a lot of things, but for some reason, vehicle wraps, I like.
It's very satisfying.
It is. It's just a really cool process. And that somehow my patience kicks in with it because you do have to be patient. My patience kicks in with it. And I really like to do a good job with that. And so when I did the training and I thought, hey, I can actually do this and realized a lot of the things that I wasn't doing right and I could improve on, I was like, okay, that's cool. Just open up this whole thing. And I go back to the shop and I'm showing our guys like everything I learned. And they're, this is way easier. And we all got better at it after I did the training. So I would highly suggest to any young women that want to get into something hands-on, something in the sign industry. Maybe they don't know what it is, whether it's sign industry, print industry, but at least try it. You can go spend some money. It's going to cost a little bit to get the training, but it could completely change what you end up doing with your future. $1,500 training course over 3 days or whatever it costs. That's a heck of a lot cheaper than spending 4 years at college and then finding out you hate it.
Yes.
So
the passion of 10,000 suns. Yeah.
Exactly. And I went to MJC. I went to the junior college for 2 years. I'm actually only 4 credits shy of an associate's degree. And then we started our business. Never looked back. But I didn't need a degree to be successful in this industry. Yeah, it probably took me a little longer because we had to figure out the business end of things. But we figured it out and you can make good money.
And honestly, an associate's probably wouldn't have prepared you to run a business anyway.
I would have had to finish schooling. I would have put off starting a business. We probably never would have started the business because my husband and I probably, boyfriend, girlfriend at the time, we probably would have gone on and got different jobs and worked for somebody else. So it all worked out like it was supposed to.
And you're still having fun.
We're still mostly, yes. And you asked me if we have
mostly
out of it.
Yeah,
it is work. It's still work. No, we are having fun. We are having fun. I'm doing, but it's just. We joke around a lot. My guys, we have probably the 2 best guys that we've ever worked with as far as like meshing and everything. These 2 guys with my husband, we have a good time. Look, we get on really well. They're very efficient. Efficiency is like my favorite word, along with workflow. It's just being organized. Like that's my thing at work. But we have a good time. But these guys are really good and stuff. They're really good workers. They're trustworthy. That's the key. So we just have this really great crew that we all get along and stuff. So it does make being in business, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, if you, the people you work with make a huge difference for sure.
Oh, yes, especially because it's not in some ways, you're with them longer than you are at home in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And my mom used to run her office. She just retired at the end of last year, but she was running her office, which was great when the kids were growing up because they literally grew up in the sign shop. 'Cause my husband and I are there. My mom was there. The kids were, we built on this huge back room for them. And from infant to grade school, probably junior high, when they were allowed to start staying home, they were there at the shop. After school, summer break, they were there at the shop. That's when they became little computer nerds too.
Why not?
And we'd give them scraps of vinyl and scissors and cardboard boxes, and they would create their own thing. They kept them busy. Yeah. Maybe that's why they don't want to go in the sign industry. They're worked out. I don't know.
They've done all the work since they were
They've done all the
growing
work,
up.
yeah.
Who knows?
No, but this is a good industry. It is a good industry. And I like that I'm getting into the business cards and the printing and the things. That's my extra thing, the displays. My husband has no interest in doing those. He just turns all that over to me. But that I'm interested in that stuff too. Kind of doing that. It's a huge industry. There's plenty of stuff for people to get into.
Yeah, and in some cases, for you, it's an add-on. You're already doing their wraps for their trucks, their fleets. Hey, do you need anything else? Can I help you with anything else? You already
Exactly.
have the relationship. If it's something easy enough to add on, why not?
Yeah. So there's plenty, and it's the funny thing we talk about women in the industry. And yes, for me, it's hard for me to wrap my head around why couldn't they do it? And just for me, it's a given. So sometimes I have a hard time with, I guess, even considering that. Well, just go for it. Like you can totally do it. But I know there is, especially when I started in this industry, there's definitely, and I don't even think people necessarily mean to do it. They're like, oh, you can install it? 'Cause I look like, like 12. I looked like a little girl at the time. So it's, oh, you're going to install the graphics. Yeah. Don't need a big burly guy to stick some vehicle graphics on your doors. Pretty sure I can handle it.
Yep.
So there is that, and you have to be patient with that kind of stuff. I wasn't always great about putting up with it. So it depends on how much of a jerk the person was. So I'm not one to be walked on.
And honestly, a lot of things depends upon how it comes off.
Yeah.
It's not what you
almost like
say,
it's
it's how
fine.
you say it in a lot of cases.
Exactly. You get a lot of people, they want to stand over you and say, hey, do you need me to hold your tape measure? If this was my husband out here or some dude out here, would you be offering to hold his tape measure? Or I'm pretty sure I got it. Just simmer down. And this is when we were on the other location and we had to install graphics out front. Now we have a big old back shop and we pull the vehicles around. The customer's back there. But before, when we were installing graphics in the parking lot, essentially, the customer's standing over you a lot more. And it was worse back then.
Yeah, they're standing, looming over you as you're
They're
putting
looming
things
over
on.
you. That's the worst part. You can't be like, hey, could you go inside?
And they're second guessing. Oh, is that straight? Is that
Yeah,
even? Is that
exactly.
level?
And everybody's got a joke. Yes. But yeah, so it did a little bit of that. Like I said, the dimples and chubby cheeks, and I did look like I was 15. There's some questioning about whether I was old enough to even hold the tape measure. I got it. It was proving yourself. Why I have to prove myself is the part that irritates me. But yeah, I've proven myself over the years.
Yeah, 31 years in business, definitely.
Yeah, we've stuck it out. And it's not always been easy, but we've done it.
Definitely. So my favorite question as we're wrapping up is knowing what you know now. So you're 31 years in this company, even your time beforehand. If you were starting out today, what advice would you give yourself?
Give myself.
So you're shiny and new. You don't know what's going on. You're just starting out.
The thicker skin. I was definitely had much thinner skin when we first started. Customers being customers would get under my skin a lot easier. I think just being more confident. I'm not necessarily a very confident person, like in every area of my life, but as far as knowing what I'm good at, it's just owning that and trying to be even better at it, taking care of my customers, taking care of my employees. That area I'm comfortable in, that area I'm confident in. So I think if I could just tell myself to stick with my gut and know that, hey, I can do this. in which I had to do. It took me longer to prove to myself that I was good at things and be willing to not worry about the naysayers and just do it. But once I've done that, and luckily I'm very stubborn. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong every which way, which is probably why I'm at the position I'm at. I'd say just go for it. And if it's something you really want to do, and especially if it makes you uncomfortable, then that means it's probably something you're really passionate about. Just really go for it. There's absolutely nothing that men can do that women can't do, period. Other than maybe lift something extra heavy, because they are physically stronger as they were created. So more power to them. Totally fine with that. There are rules for men and women. I'm not going to say that there's not, because there absolutely are. But as far as the industry, the print industry, from leadership all the way down to whatever level you want to, there's all different kinds of levels in this print industry. Women are equal to men in every single area. They really are. There's absolutely nothing that they cannot.
And honestly, I would even say, even with the lifting things, there's now devices, there's other things that can help with some of that.
100%. And as I've gotten older and gotten a little chunkier, I still have really strong arms from lifting these rolls for 30 years. So just go with it. Just lift them.
Just do it.
Just do it. You can totally do it.
Well, Charity, it was awesome chatting with you today. So thank you again for taking a little bit of time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. It was so nice to talk to you.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to celebrate and amplify the voices of women in the printing industry. If you have a story to share or know someone whose journey deserves to be highlighted, we'd love to hear from you. Together, let's continue inspiring and empowering the next generation of leaders. Until next time, keep leaving your imprint. This is Her Imprint. See you soon.